In this episode,
Boxers or briefs. Favorite dessert? Favorite restaurant? Hey, did you ever have a girlfriend?
Yes.
What was her name?
The current one is Jennifer, but the
What do you mean the current one? You have a girlfriend?
yeah,
Now?
yeah,
What?
yeah.
Stop the presses. People have been waiting for the sequel. What you know? Our first episode was the most watched video on our YouTube channel.
Wow, that's interesting.
It holds the record so far.
Wow.
Bonnie, a couple weeks ago, said, I don't know how I found it. I wasn't even looking for it, but I came across Preachers and Cars, and there was Scott and you looking at me, you know, the picture on the YouTube channel. She goes, I have no idea. I have no idea what she was looking for.
That's
the
funny.
fact that I'm sure YouTube maybe suggested it to her. I don't know. Maybe because she's associated with our church. I don't know how it works.
I know a couple of people have seen it that are surprised they saw it. So
I was thinking, you got that one show with Jerry Seinfeld. It's called Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
yeah,
He goes to where they are, picks them up, interviews them, go get coffee. It's a whole big interview process, takes them back. Anyway, I was thinking we should Preachers in Cars Getting Ice Cream.
it sounds good.
You go to Luigi's, different ice cream stands each
Yeah.
episode.
But I haven't been to Luigi's in years.
My first full-time position in ministry was in West Virginia. And the pastor there, we do a lot of visitation every Tuesday together. And he would always use hand sanitizer going in the hospital and after visiting folks coming out. So it was just good practice.
It is a good idea.
That was back in the late 80s.
Yeah.
So I've always done it for all these years.
No, that's a good idea.
So we just went to visit someone in a facility, and I was coming out, and I couldn't use too much hand sanitizer because I'm that pastor germaphobe type guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't help but notice, but Scott didn't reach once for it. So I wonder why, if he's a man of faith or forgetfulness. Faith that you're not going to get anything, or not wondering or remembering what you just touched.
Well, I always use sanitizer before I go into the tabernacle. I make a point of that.
Tabernacle.
Yeah.
What is a tabernacle?
That's where the high priest goes to make the sacrifices. And there's
What?
A cleansing ceremony you do there. That is,
What are you talking about? What tabernacle do you go into?
the original one.
You actually go into that?
Well, when I can, you know. You gotta have hand sanitizer before they'll let you in.
Okay, right now I'm really concerned about his doctrine and his... What are you talking about?
Well,
Are you making a joke?
yeah, I'm making a joke.
Okay,
but my
good.
jokes aren't very funny. But my body is a tabernacle. It's the temple of the Holy Spirit, so I should use sanitizer to clean that.
Oh, or you're a man of faith.
Yeah. But I grew up in an era where there was no such thing as hand sanitizer, and a lot of things have changed since just in my lifetime. When I first started working at the Shire as a nurse's aide, they didn't have hardly any what they call universal precautions.
Really?
And so it was
When was that?
about 1974. And so we would be cleaning a wound, or we'd be doing a treatment on a resident, and we'd wash our hands afterwards, but not half the universal precautions they do now. I've always had an aversion to wearing gloves, but nowadays in healthcare you wear gloves.
No, when I was a bus driver, I was bivocational pastor, I drove a bus. If a kid had any kind of an open cut or anything of that nature, any type of bodily fluid, God forbid they vomited,
Yeah.
you know, we were, well, obviously with that, put on the gloves. We were not to touch anything. We were like educated on this stuff, and that would have been early 90s, so...
It's better to be careful than to not be careful. Like I say, I'm just a creature habit that grew up when people didn't think about those things, but it's an improvement that they have because there's so many transmittable diseases nowadays. There's actually, when you think about it, there are more transmittable diseases now than there were 50 years ago.
Do you think?
Oh yeah, well, AIDS is a good example. HIV,
Yeah.
you know, that didn't exist as far as we knew back.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if these things existed or not.
Yeah.
We just didn't know, or
Could be.
they just weren't so prevalent.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not a doctor, so.
No, but it's a good point. But no, there's no such thing as being too clean. So it's always good to err on the side of cleanliness.
Right now, I want to go here. I'm going to get that picture we just took.
Okay.
I'm going to get it blown up and created, put it
Okay.
in a frame, take it back to Gary.
Oh, good.
And I'll get that picture of you and I, and then we can buy some candy.
Okay, good.
It'd be like Christmas for him.
Yeah, that's good. He could use it today.
We'll have to make the picture big enough that he can see it.
Yeah.
'Cause he wears glasses, but I don't know if they're for reading or distance.
He really did look a lot better today, I thought.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I go visiting people in the nursing home, and I mean, I don't always think about it, but it does make me think about, how I never want to go to one of these and end up in a place.
That was one of my vows, that if it was humanly possible, which it isn't always, I would never let my parents or my brother be in a nursing home. And by the grace of God, it never happened, but I had to fight for it with my father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so heart-wrenching.
It is, and it is very depressing. I mean, you can have the best staff in the world, but it's still depressing. And you don't always have the best staff in the world. But
So I don't know what it is. Well, I think I do know what it is. For me, I tend to be a lonely person.
Yeah.
Get
Mhm.
lonely or whatever, and I can't imagine being in a place where you seldom ever see family. And not that families don't visit you, but a lot of families don't.
yeah.
They're busy, they got lives.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a reason or an excuse, but
No, I understand.
you tend to fall back on that. Next thing you know, 2 or 3 or 4, 6 days turns into 2 or 3 or 4 weeks.
I think it would kill Douglas, my brother. I think it would just kill him. Now, he's not social at all. If anything, he's antisocial, but he likes his privacy. You know what I mean? He likes to be left alone. He doesn't want to be with people. Doesn't like crowds. I think it would just about kill him.
So you had a story. You had a story about somebody in hand sanitizer or something?
Oh yeah, it's not a big story, but it's a true story. I had this friend on the Webster wrestling team, and the first year I worked with the Webster wrestling team was 1992-93 school year. And the first person I met, because they introduced the team to me and they came up and shook hands with me one at a time, he was an 8th grader, but he was on varsity. And turns out I went to high school with both his parents. And so we became friends really quick. Through the years, he became one of my closer friends on the wrestling team. But he used to drive his father crazy with a germaholic he was, or whatever it is,
Germaholic.
Germophobic. Anyway, Jim was extreme about it. I mean, they used to joke about how he would clean doorknobs off with napkins before he'd open them, and this and that. He ended up becoming a plumber.
It's ironic.
It is ironic.
I wonder how that works out, being a germaphobe and being a plumber.
I think it worked out like a lot of things work out. You're amazed what you can do when you have to. There's a lot of things that people are convinced they could never handle, but if they are put in a position where they have no choice, a lot of times they surprise themselves with their adjusting.
Well, I would think with being a plumber, it takes a while to become a plumber.
Yeah.
So he had plenty of time to think about it.
Yeah.
It's not like he had no choice.
Right.
It's like, if I do this, I'll be working with that, and it's interesting. Now, on the more serious side, I had a friend whose wife was a nurse in the hospital, and through treating patients, she somehow contracted some type of, I don't know if that's the right word, but I don't know if it was a staph infection, but in her eyes.
Oh dear. Wow.
She went blind.
Oh dear. Oh, that's awful.
I'm not saying that could have been prevented by
Yeah.
hand sanitizer, but
It's still scary.
I still would think that, some precautions
Oh, yeah.
could have
Yeah.
maybe prevented that. I don't know what they would have
It
been.
would have been a good possibility. That's
It's a
horrible.
shame.
Yeah.
10 questions.
Okay.
I don't know what they are. I'll make them up as I go.
Okay.
Boxers or briefs? No, I'm kidding.
That's a classic question. I remember when they asked Bill Clinton that question. That was a classic.
Okay. Favorite beverage?
Water.
Okay. Second favorite beverage?
Chocolate milk.
Ooh. Favorite dessert?
Ice cream. No, popcorn. Popcorn's considered dessert by most people, right? See, I consider it a main course. But yeah, popcorn.
Favorite subject in school?
English.
And why?
Because I love reading and I love writing. I think it's the key to everything.
Nice. Something you've always wanted to do that might even be considered on your bucket list?
Oh, that's a good question. Be totally honest with someone without having to hold back at all.
You don't feel like you're able to do that?
No.
Really? I hope you can be that way with me.
Yeah, I'm willing, but that's... Most people have a lot of skeletons in their closets.
Well, when you say totally honest, I'm thinking in a conversation. But
Yeah,
you
no.
talking about like 100% all the time?
I'm talking 100. Well, I'm talking about just sharing my past with someone without, leaving out the most embarrassing things or the most humiliating things or stuff like that.
Sure, I think most people probably feel the same way.
Yeah, very, very few people want to do that. Some people are willing to listen, but they're not going to share back, and other people don't even want to hear it.
Okay. Favorite restaurant?
Eastridge Family Diner.
I always get those confused.
It's the one near the U-Haul. It's near Culver Road and Eastridge Road.
Okay. Because isn't there another one?
Yeah, there's another one down towards Hudson.
I don't want to start any controversies here, but
Okay.
when I go to one, I usually go to the other one.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever have a girlfriend?
Yes.
What was her name?
The current one is Jennifer, but the
What do you mean the current one?
I
You have a current girlfriend?
Oh yeah.
What?
We've been together for 15 years.
You have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Stop the presses. What?
Yeah. You can meet her sometime if you want.
What's her name?
Jennifer.
What do you mean I can meet her sometime, but I've never met her?
I'll bring her to church sometime.
You're joking.
No, I'm
What
serious.
is this, a cat?
No.
It's a person.
Yes.
And she's never been to church.
She's never been to this church. She's been to my church.
What do you mean your church? Where does she go to church?
Well, when I was pastoring Resurrection Bible Church, she went there.
Right now, everybody who's watching on YouTube is like jaw dropping.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. It's nothing I'm trying to hide.
What do you mean you're not trying to hide?
If anyone asked me, I'd give them a straight answer. Like I gave you a straight answer. Did I hesitate at all?
You did not hesitate.
Okay. I don't hesitate at all, but if people don't ask, I don't tell.
You got a picture of her?
Not on me, but I have some at home.
I don't ask you too many details here.
You can ask anything you want.
How old is she?
37. You have to do some editing here.
Okay.
I can tell you our whole story. I don't mind. She wouldn't mind either.
37?
37, yeah. I'm not going to go out with anybody at 70. That's too old.
I'm in disbelief, and this is incredulous, and I still don't know if I believe this kind of...
Even-
I want to believe
You
it, but
even touch somebody at 70, they can, just dissipate,
30 what?
It's 37.
37?
37, yeah.
I don't know. This story's getting more and more unbelievable, but I don't know.
Like I said, I don't mind
How
sharing
long?
it. 15 years. I can tell you anything you want to know.
Oh, I'm going to ask. I'm
Yeah,
gonna ask.
no, feel free. Anything you want.
Would she mind this information being on YouTube?
Not one bit.
Is this a real person?
Yes.
Is she living and breathing?
Yes. Like I say, you can meet her if you want to. We'll have lunch together or something.
Is she on Facebook?
Yes.
I'm going to look her up right now.
Go ahead.
What's her first name?
Jennifer.
Okay. How do we do this? My mind is being blown here, so I'm like, I can't even remember how to use Facebook right now. I'm like, so, like everybody watching.
Yeah. Oh, there's my brother Douglas with her.
That's your brother Douglas?
Yeah.
I don't see on here that she's in a relationship.
She's not.
So you're not her boyfriend?
Well, we consider ourselves boyfriend and girlfriend or best friends or whatever.
Okay.
You know.
Best friends, a little bit different than boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah, but...
So since you guys are platonic friends, does she have another boyfriend?
No.
That's a real friend?
No.
Boyfriend?
No. She has in the past at times, and she's always been very open with me about it. Very, very open to the Word, good sound Bible-believing church, very friendly people. It's an hour from where I live, but that's the only thing. And it's like the Holy Spirit told me, it's like being a circuit rider, you know. If the circuit riders can ride for hours and sometimes days so that each church gets the gospel, the least I can do is drive an hour each Sunday back and forth and share the gospel with people that are hungry for it and want it. And also like missionaries, if missionaries can leave their home for years and go to preach the gospel, it seems the least I can do is try to help meet the needs of some people that have been looking for a pastor for 2 years.
Well, I will say, when you first came to tell me and you kind of said you got something serious to talk about, I kind of went there in my mind. Oh, someone asked him to be a pastor, pastor of the church. And of course, you can't stand in someone's way of following God. I mean, we could try. It's not wise. So I wasn't about to play that card. I'm old enough in the Lord to know don't stand in God's way. And so I thought it was a real blessing that you get to go. And then once we talked more, talking about how it's not really a goodbye because you'll still be living here, that we can still fellowship together.
Right.
And then I kind of like the sting of the news was taken away. And I was thinking, wow, this could be something really nice. It's some new thing that God is doing, that a pastor doesn't need to leave a present fellowship to pastor another.
I really like that.
So we're not going to put any claims on you as thinking that you're ours, but at the same time, when missionaries go out, they are sent to oversee other places, and yet that home church still thinks of that missionary as being theirs.
Well, I've become family, so once you're family, you're family.
Exactly. Nice.
They're very, very friendly. They're very thankful to have a pastor. I hope they still are after they hear me preach a couple more times. But right now they're very thankful that they have a pastor because they've been praying for one for 2 years. And it's a small congregation, but they're very, very active. They support a lot of missions, and almost everybody in that church is involved in ministry in the church. So
what current ministries do they have in place, or what current study structures or schedules do they have?
Right now they have a coffee hour at 9 in the morning on Sunday, and then they have the morning service from 10 to 11 on Sunday. They might have meetings and things like that during the week, but no other services during the week right now. I would like it, if the Lord leads in time, to start a home Bible study once a week too there at somebody's home,
So you're going to be pastoring in Savannah.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked on the map where that is yet, but I will. And I'm really excited for you.
Thanks.
I'm excited for the church there. I'm excited for our church. Well, Glad Tidings.
Yeah.
Because, again, I don't know what this means, but I want to be able to support you in any way that we can. And I say this, you'll understand. I don't want someone to take those words out of my mouth and then turn them around and make me obligated to do something.
Right.
I want to support you in any way that we can, that we feel led to by the Holy Spirit.
Absolutely.
And because God has put certain strengths here, and why not bless another church, and vice versa. But we're not going to be looking for anything from Savannah, but I'm just saying is it can be a mutually beneficial blessing.
Yeah.
Rather than a pastor saying, bye.
One of the things that went through my mind, and it's not solidified yet, but definitely went through my mind yesterday, was I'd love it if sometime you came out there and preached. I'd love to have you out there to preach.
I enjoy it.
And
I can tell them all the stories.
Yeah, well, most of them. It's a funny thing, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I'm positive I was right, I've been wrong. So God's taught me that. But I have to say that I'm really feeling a lot of this is God's will.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
To be honest with you, I look forward to preaching much more than I look forward to leading. I don't mind being a leader when it's necessary.
I understand.
But I look forward to the preaching more,
Mm-hmm.
And they are so open to it. That's what I appreciate, is they just they're like sponges to soak it up, and it's just amazing how many things have fallen into place that make me convinced it is God's will. Because I've told people, maybe I told you, but I've told other people for sure, that in the flesh I wouldn't take this under any circumstances. Because in the flesh I don't even like driving to Glad Tidings in the winter.
What's that, a mile?
Yeah, not even.
That's a half a mile.
And my brother's terrified of me driving an hour one way and an hour the other way for fear of me falling asleep, at the wheel, and I don't like to make him worry, In the flesh, I wouldn't take it at all, under any circumstance. And I couldn't be happier at Glad Tidings. Glad Tidings has been a perfect fit for me as far as I'm concerned, and I'm very grateful for everything, and I just love it here, So I'm leaving behind a lot of things that I don't want to leave behind.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm so excited about is to talk about it in past tense. So many times when a pastor takes another church, he does do that. He says goodbye to the previous congregation and goes to the new one, and that's just the way most of Christian ministry happens.
Yeah.
But in this situation, it doesn't have to be, and it's not I'm saying goodbye to everything. It's I don't even know what to call it.
Well, I guess I'm just saying I'll miss teaching Sunday school, because I like Sunday school because I encourage a lot of participation in Sunday school, and we've had a good Sunday school class, The
same thing can happen on Wednesday nights.
Oh yeah, and I'm
different group of people.
I'm planning on coming every Wednesday night I can, to
hear. I plan on letting you teach on Wednesday.
Yeah, and I want to teach. I want to teach on Wednesday nights, and if I'm not teaching, I come too, No, I look forward to Wednesday nights, and I need it for spiritual energy. I need it for spiritual food. If I miss a Wednesday night, I pay for it.
You've got the word, but you also got the fellowship.
Yeah, the fellowship's wonderful. So, but
and the teaching keeps you sharp.
Oh yeah,
because people can ask questions, and as we learned earlier, shared the story. I didn't share it on here, but about people asking questions that are severely rooted in misconceptions or false doctrine.
Yeah.
When they're contentious about it. So you gotta stay sharp.
Yeah.
And so Wednesday nights will help you do that.
In the flesh, I'm a very lazy person. It's always the Holy Spirit that has to prod me and lead me, but He's been working in my life a lot lately. I'd say He's been working in my life in the last year more than any other time in my life, other than when I first got saved. He's taken away my interest in just about everything other than spiritual things. A lot of my hobbies, a lot of my interests, I don't do them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I just, when I've got free time, I read my Bible, I read Christian books, I go out and minister, and the other stuff wasn't bad stuff, but I've just lost my taste for it, just lost my interest in it, and
well, we're blessed to have you here.
I'm blessed to be here.
And they're going to be blessed to have you there too.
Well, I hope so, and I think so. I think it's Domenico always says he sees it as a perfect fit, but he knows too that there's no such thing as a perfect fit, But I think that their hearts are right with God, and my heart's right with God, and I think if we all wait on the Lord and depend on the leading of the Holy Spirit, I think things will be pretty good.
Well, I don't know if that particular church does installation services, but if you have an installation service, let us know in advance. We'll send out what do they call that?
Delegation.
Delegation. There we go. We'll send
Yeah.
out a delegation.
I
Support
think
you and cheer you on.
it's a very good possibility they will.
Yeah.
Very good
Excellent.
possibility.
We would need to know as far in advance as possible.
Yeah. No, Domenico even asked me to ask them if we could have an installation ceremony, because he wants to invite some people from my 2 previous churches that got saved
Excellent.
in those churches,
Love it.
So
Make sure all your admirers come out.
well, they'll both be there.
I mean, your secret admirers.
Well, I'm hoping they won't be there.
Oh. Okay.